Okay, have you ever stopped to think what a smartphone, a skyscraper, and a can of soda could possibly have in common? I mean, it seems like absolutely nothing, right? But believe it or not, they all share a kind of hidden logic, a secret blueprint for how they're made. Today, we're going to unlock that blueprint and show you the three fundamental ways that pretty much anything gets built.
So let's look at these again. A car, a can of soda, and a massive ship. You've got a super complex machine, a simple everyday beverage, and then this colossal, one-of-a-kind structure. They seem like they're from different universes. But what if I told you they all trace back to the same simple, really powerful framework?
The answer, it turns out, is something called a production method. And listen, this is way more than just some boring technical term. It's the fundamental blueprint for turning an idea into a real physical thing. You can almost think of it as the operating system for the entire world of manufacturing.
And here's the wild part. Nearly every single manufactured product you can think of, from a paper clip to a passenger jet, can be sorted into just three core methods. That's it, just three. Understanding these categories is the key to seeing the hidden order in how our world gets built. So let's dive in and break them down.
First up, we've got what's called discrete production. Now, the absolute easiest way to get your head around this is to think about building with Lego. Seriously, you have a whole bunch of distinct individual pieces, and your job is to follow the instructions to put them all together in exactly the right order.
And this method is, well, it's everywhere you look. Your car, for instance, is made of tens of thousands of individual parts. The engine, the tires, every last nut and bolt, all assembled in a super precise sequence. It's the exact same idea for your phone, your fridge, or even the chair you might be sitting on right now. Each one is just the sum of its distinct parts.
So the main takeaway for discrete production is assembly. It's all about taking countable components and putting them together. The big challenge here is really all about logistics, managing a potentially huge inventory of different parts and making sure everything gets to the right place at the right time.
All right, our second method is called process production. And if discrete manufacturing is like building with Lego, this one is much more like baking a cake. You're not assembling a bunch of pre-made parts, you're following a recipe to transform basic ingredients into something completely new and different.
And the range of stuff made this way is just staggering. This method gives us everything from chemicals and medicines to the food and drinks we consume every day. It's even how we create fundamental materials like steel by transforming raw iron ore through crazy amounts of heat and chemical reactions.
So the key idea here is transformation. You start with raw materials, a lot of times they're liquids or powders, and you use processes like mixing, heating, or chemical reactions to create the final product. See, unlike counting individual screws, here it's all about precise ratios, formulas, and process control, because just a tiny variation in temperature or timing can ruin the whole batch.
And finally, we get to project production. Okay, so for this one, forget assembly lines and forget mass batches. Think of this like commissioning a unique piece of art, or having a suit tailored just for you. It is all about creating a single bespoke item.
And yeah, these are the true giants of the manufacturing world. We're talking about massive ships built to the exact specs of one shipping company. Or bridges that are designed as totally unique solutions for one specific location. By its very definition, when you use this method, no two products are ever exactly alike.
So the defining feature here is that each product is its own project. I mean, it's right in the name. It's built from the ground up for one single customer, to their unique specifications. The entire process, from the first sketch to the final delivery, is managed as one single massive undertaking.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. Assembling pieces, following a recipe, and creating a one-of-a-kind item. We've just walked through the three core methods. Now let's see how they fit together as one single framework for understanding how, well, literally everything is made. And here it is, the whole framework at a glance. You've got that building block approach of discrete manufacturing for things like cars and phones, then you have the recipe-driven method of process manufacturing for things like chemicals or food, and finally, the one-of-a-kind approach for massive projects like a bridge. Three core concepts that explain pretty much everything we make.
So this is all interesting, right? But why is this framework so important? Well, because it's not just some academic exercise. Choosing the right method has huge, real-world consequences for efficiency, cost, and ultimately how and when a product actually gets into your hands.
It really all comes down to planning and scheduling. You just can't plan to build a smartphone the same way you plan to produce soda. It doesn't work. The entire logic of the operation, from your supply chain to your timeline, it all depends entirely on which of these three methods you choose.
So it really boils down to these 3 steps. First, you have to identify your method. Are you assembling, transforming, or building a one-off? Once you have that answer, you can design the right kind of production plan. And only then can you actually optimize your schedule to be as efficient and cost-effective as possible. This is the absolute foundation of all modern production planning.
You know, these 3 methods have defined manufacturing for a really long time. But today, new technologies are starting to blur those lines. Just think about 3D printing, which kind of feels like it creates a unique project object, but it does it through an additive, almost discrete-like process. Or what about mass customization, where you get a mass-produced item that has a one-of-a-kind feel? That leaves us with a really fascinating question. Are we on the verge of a 4th production method altogether, or are these lines just going to keep blurring forever?